Alright, welcome to the speed build and, of course, a bit of a thoughts and review on the LEGO ideas, well, Pirates of Barracuda Bay. Alright, welcome to the speed build and, of course, a bit of a thoughts and review on the Pirates of Barracuda Bay LEGO idea set. So, this is just one of those LEGO idea set that I just am overly impressed with, that I've had since it came out, and I have loved since it came out, and I am genuinely, honestly, really excited to build this again. The only thing I'm not excited to do is go and find all the pieces for the actual island part again, because I have all of them in my inventory somewhere, because I sorted them out in order to leave this in its ship form for a while. But regardless, I am excited to get everything together again, give you my thoughts on this, and really, I'm actually excited to just build this again in general. So, yeah. With that, I am sure you know how the buttons work down there by now, so do click them as you please. Let's get to the speed build and a snap to disassembly and assembly of the rest of the pieces. Here we go. And quickly, because this is probably one of the biggest sets that I have reassembled besides the LEGO Ideas piano, and I think this has a lot more different pieces, so it's worth showing all of the different things that I had to do to get all of these pieces sorted out. These blue ones over here aren't actually part of it. I just grabbed all of the brown ones in that drawer. But yeah, with that, let's get to the speed build. Here we go. Alright, it is done. So, I need to address the elephant on the table, as it were, and that is all of these extra pieces that are just laying here. I think they should have found a way to put these chunks of pieces around. I can accept the few individual pieces, that is okay, but I feel like these chunks, these are just things you have to make to put on the ship later. I don't understand why they couldn't have just put these somewhere, anywhere in this build. There is just so much room and space and things and just dangling things already. I don't know why they chose not to just put this stuff in the build, but they didn't, and I'm genuinely disappointed about that, in the same way as these. Even just these should have been wrapped up and put with an extra string. Give us an extra string or two. It's fine. I would rather have more extra pieces in the end than having to put extra pieces on in general. So, with all of that said, let's get into the review for just the actual Pirates of Barracuda Bay part, where we're actually on the bay. Before I get into the little nitty-gritty details and stuff and all the minifigures and whatnot, I want to really quickly say that the thing of putting the ship together in its full form is very difficult. And with that comes the leftover island chunks, as it were, that are basically just kind of useless after you have assembled the ship. And I do want to say that assembling the ship in the first place takes 38 steps, I'm pretty sure, 38 pages worth of steps, and it is kind of ridiculous, actually. I think that is a little bit much. I think they could have maybe made this a little easier. So with that all going forward, there is a lot in my mind about this set that really indicates me not quite liking it as much as I thought I did when I first made it. And especially trying to rebuild it, and that is sort of the essence of LEGO. Rebuilding things, I feel, is a big part of it, and if you can't rebuild it somewhat easily, and if you don't have a reason to want to, that does kind of knock the points a little bit for me. So, going forward, let's look at all the awesome details that I actually do like about this set, and I will assemble it into its ship form and just kind of talk about that when it's there. So here we go. Let's get to the first island that we actually make and the awesome details that I really like about this. Alright, and it is done. So, there are a lot of things I want to say about this set, but to start off, the first and foremost thing is that this really does look good when it is done. The initial build, the island, just the overall run-overness of it, just, they nailed it. They did really good. Really freaking good. And I will say, again, I know it might sound like a nitpick, but they did make things. And I'll show a few pages from the instructions that shows them, quote-unquote, making things breakable. This is one of the ones that I really want to point out, and it's this. And this is such a simple piece. It's attached by one stud. There's one singular stud holding this piece on right here. And for some reason, LEGO decided that the A-frame cabin couldn't have something like this. They decided that this was not an option. Something like this, even, which is also held on by one stud each. This one actually by two, but still, one stud. You can just pluck this right off real easy. But for some reason, that was a justification in the A-frame cabin, and that is the main point about this build. So, with that in mind, look at the absolute beauty in run-overness and usedness of this build. Just in general, everything. The vines, even just where the cannons are, the ladders, the sails just being kind of hung there, and that's amazing. This looks so good, and it just works, and it's a playful thing, and like you can do so much with just it as it is. And before I get into converting this set and getting into one of the biggest complaints that I do have with this set, let's go over at least the minifigures and all of that first. And to start off, let's go over at least my favorite minifigures, which are indeed the Captain, because, of course, the custom minifigure leg is just, and minifigure hand, just so unique. There are very few minifigures that have custom extremities, I guess, and I think there should be more of them. Or even the one that has the prosthetic leg. Again, just fantastic minifigures, especially when they have accessories like the shoulder fluff thing going on there, the sword, etc. Again, I love it when minifigures have special things, and this guy is one of my favorite, I will say. So, with that, of course, you got the twins. Oop, that's not the twins. These are the twins. You got the twins, which have the same accessories, the swords, the gun, and just different shirts, essentially. Yeah, not much to be said about them. You got the wife of the captain, and of course, I really do like his torso. Probably the most. I know he's kind of naked, or supposed to be naked, but yeah, I really like the anchors and stuff on his torso. Nice stuff. And the wife of the captain, really nice looking. Not really super interesting. There could have been something with the legs, probably, but oh well. And then the last, well, 3 here. I don't really care about this guy. Just a generic minifigure in my mind. Maybe some of you will be like, oh my god, why could you not care about him? But yeah, the kid's cool. I like that he's got a little telescope. That's nice. And another one that I genuinely don't really care about. Just kind of generic minifigure to me. I do like that the hat and the hair are connected. That's a unique piece, but yeah, I mean, it's good that they got at least 2 faces in some of them. So yeah. So, these guys have an alternate face, and I'm kind of confused because this guy kind of has a similar thing as the twins and the kid. They could have easily had an alternate face, but for some reason they don't. Anyway, that's all I need to say about the minifigures. I do like the shark. Nice little addition, of course, because you're in the ocean. But yeah, with that, let's move on to my least favorite part, and to segue that, I just want to show all of the pieces that you need to use to, well, make the next part happen beyond what is already here in the islands themselves. With that in mind, let's convert this into the beautiful ship that it is meant to be, and then I'll tell you what I think about that. Alright, so this is my biggest complaint right here. Just look at all of these pieces. So minifigures not included. We'll put them to the side real quick. Look at all of these pieces, including this, including everything that is on this tray. Everything here has to be readjusted. That is too much. That is so much stuff. There is too much things here. Too many. And that's my biggest complaint with this set. Every single one of these clumps is a different instruction just to take stuff off of this initial ship, just to make it a ship. That shouldn't be that much. There should be like 5 things that I should just be like, boop, 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 flop that ship together, good to go, bam. But no, that's not really the reality of this. It is, as you can see, many more things than 5 then that needs to be readjusted, gotten rid of, thrown away, disassembled, reassembled, etc., 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 just to make this a ship. And that is frustrating. And I will say, part of the problem of just doing this in general is that you can't just work backwards. There are certain instructions that don't even show you exactly what it is that you're taking off in the certain way that you're taking off. You're just expected to know where it goes back if you were wanting to do that, and I'll kind of show a couple of those instructions. But yeah, not even really a great option to just put back together as it was in the end. But that isn't even the most frustrating part of this. And once I assemble this full ship and give you my overall review of the ship itself, I will share with you my most sort of frustrating part of this whole thing, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go. Alright, finally, we have it. So, I am going to be very careful in showing you this because I kind of put a half effort into putting all of the loot and stuff on the deck, because I'm going to be putting this back into the island form, and let me tell you why. While I do absolutely love the look of this ship, it is a beautiful Lego ship. There is no denying that. Now I have to discuss the biggest problem with this set, and that is this stuff right here. Not the minifigures. Minifigures can be put to the side again, but just everything that is laying out right now that's just sitting here. That just, what do I do with all this stuff now? What am I supposed to do with this? There's no suggestion by Lego. They just say, get rid of these pieces and build this. That's it. Period. But that's annoying, because now if this is the only Lego set that I ever got and I wanted to build this ship, what am I supposed to do with all these Lego pieces right here? What am I supposed to display this? Because I can't. I can't display this island chunk without the ship. And that's the main issue I have with this. And I love this set, but I don't love the control that Lego put around it, is basically what I'm saying. This is a overall just amazing set. It's so playable. There's so much to play with here. But Lego, in the instructions, trying to push some kind of narrative or whatever, isn't it. I just want to make the thing and then put my narrative in it. Put my own imagination, put my own story, whatever, in it from there. Don't make me put all this random, unnecessary crap on it that I don't need to make it more complicated. Just make me take off the 5 things, and with that, there should be only like 5 things that you actually need to take off. That's another thing. There's so many little tiny plant things that don't need to be a thing, but are. And I get it for the detail, but it's just it's annoying when you have to actually build the ship from the island wreck ship. It's not fun to redo this, and it's gonna be a pain to put this back, because I personally am going to be putting it back on the island so that I can keep all of this crap together, all of this, just in one place, instead of having to disassemble all this stuff and then put it somewhere else. That's my biggest complaint with this, is that there should be some way to keep all of this stuff in a better spot, because that's what I want from the instructions. I don't want to just figure it out myself. I want Lego to have figured it out for me to begin with, because that's the point of this, is the experience of building it and then doing this other thing. And that experience was not great, honestly, because it's just stressful when you have all of this crap you need to like think about. What am I gonna do with this? You have to put more thought than you normally would, even with like a 3-in-1 build where you're just taking all the parts off and then you have like a pile of parts. This is not just a pile of parts, this is a pile of assembled things and chunks. That is different than a 3-in-1 build entirely in that sense. And it's weird. If this set were just the shipwreck and then it was just a secret little take apart the ship with like 5 steps and put that ship together and all of a sudden it's a ship, that would be amazing. But that's not what this build is. This is a meticulous thing to get the ship off of the island and put it into this ship. Repair the ship, as it were. And I can understand why that might be something you want. You want to sort of experience repairing the ship. But at the same time, that's not what I really thought this would be. And I don't really mind putting the sails, while they are difficult to put on, I don't mind that. That is not even close to the most frustrating part of this build. The sails are understandable because that just has that whole shipbuilding part to it, but the rest of it feels like I'm doing something I shouldn't be, if that makes sense. And with that, I don't want to say this isn't a set I wouldn't recommend, because it looks amazing, it is amazing, and it has this whole thing. If you want a boat, you have now a boat and a whole bunch of extra Lego pieces if that's what you wanted. But if you wanted just the boat, don't buy this set. This is not the set to buy if you just wanted a boat, because it obviously has way more than that, and it's a lot more complicated than just a boat. It's a shipwreck island. It has, I guess, the wreckage after you assemble the ship to just deal with. So there is that, I guess. But with that, I am probably about done with talking about this set. I hope you get the idea of what I think. And if you guys have anything to say about this, let me know down below, because yeah, I'm sure there's more to say, and there's more to discuss on this set in general, and I want to know what you guys think about this whole conundrum of having to reassemble it versus like a 3-in-1 or something. But yeah, with that, I am sure you know how the buttons work down there by now, so do click them as you please. Thanks again for watching. Mr. HiYodaPanda, out.